Klaus Wollenweber. The best way is just to observe the noise of the world. The answer to your question? Ask your own heart. Hugh Jung. My brother Stephen studied for the PhD in acting and dramatic literature at Indiana University from 1965 to 1968. As luck would have it, I was there getting a PhD in German languages and literatures. My brother had to take a graduate reading course in German and pass it with a B. It was a required course for his PhD. My brother has a hard time with languages. It would be very kind to say he is not a linguist and let it go at that. The graduate reading course in German met in the summer, 6 hours a day for 8 weeks. My brother couldn't spread the German out over 2 semesters, as I had advised him to do, because of his work in the theater. So he came to me and asked, "Dick, with whom shall I take the course this summer?" I looked over the roster. Gary Johnson, a nice American boy, was teaching at 9:30 a.m., and Stephanie Karp, a nice Jewish girl, was teaching at 10:30 a.m. I knew them both quite well. I said to my brother, "Take the course with Gary Johnson or Stephanie Karp." Stephen replied, "I can't, Dick. The only slot I have open is at 1:30 p.m. I looked at the roster again and saw the name Klaus Wollenweber, not 1:30 p.m. I knew Klaus Wollenweber too. He was a tight ass and a straight-ahead Kopf gegen die Wand, head against the wall at all costs fellow. Besides that, Herr Wollenweber knew my brother was a Jew. I said, "Stephen, I wouldn't take it then. It's the only time I have free," my brother replied. My brother was the kind of a guy who, once having made up his mind, didn't change it, and so the deed was done. "All right, Stephen," I said, "you take it then." On the first exam, my brother got a C+. On the second exam, he got a B. On the third exam, he got a C. My brother came to me again shaking, with tears in his eyes. It's the only time I've ever seen my brother cry. He said, "Dick, I'm going to fail this course." "Stephen," I said, "do you remember when you came to me 6 weeks ago and asked me with whom you should take the course?" My brother nodded his head and looked in dismay at the ground. "I told you to take it with either Gary Johnson or Stephanie Karp." My brother raised his head and looked at me again, tears still in his eyes. "What am I going to do now, Dick?" he said. "I'll tell you what you're going to do now, Stephen. For the next 2 weeks, you're going to sit your ass down on that chair." I pointed to a chair at a table in my small apartment. "And I'm going to translate the daily German text for you word for word. You're going to listen hard, and then you're going to write the English translation over the German text. Then you're going to take the German text and that translation into class with you. When Klaus Wollenweber calls on you, you are going to translate the German into perfect English. At the end of the class, after Klaus Wollenweber has called on each of the students, and they are all thoroughly exhausted from translating and from nervous tension, there will be 20 minutes left. Klaus Wollenweber will look around the room and smile. He will then ask for volunteers. You keep your head down. You wait 20 seconds. Then you slowly raise your head and your hand. My brother is an actor, and I knew he would give one of the best performances of his life, because he knew that his life depended on this very performance. Klaus Wollenweber will look at you in astonishment. He won't believe his eyes. Then he will call on you to read. You pause, then read slowly, clearly, methodically, and effortlessly. You do that every day for the next 2 weeks. My brother followed my instructions to a T. At the end of the 2 weeks, Stephen went to Klaus Wollenweber's room and saw his grade posted on the door. He had gotten an A on the exam and a B in the course. At the very moment my brother walked away from the door, Herr Wollenweber came out of his room. My brother heard the door open behind him and headed quickly for the stairs. Herr Wollenweber ran after him, shouting, "Ach, Herr Macht, das war ausgezeichnet! Oh, Mr. Macht, that was excellent! Wie haben Sie das geschafft? How did you do it?" As the two of them descended the stairs together, my brother looked sideways at Klaus Wollenweber in utter disbelief. "I don't know, Herr Wollenweber," he said. "I really don't know."